Welcome back to the Hear and Heard podcast. We are joined today with Leah. So, if you want to introduce yourself and then we'll get started.
Yeah, so I'm Leah. I am a stay-at-home mom and wife. I am 28 years old. Uh, and yeah, so I'm excited to be here.
I am so excited to have you. I think we met a couple times at Larsmont, maybe.
We literally just came from Larsemont for our 10-year anniversary.
Oh my gosh, did
Yep,
you?
yep.
That's so sweet.
Yeah,
I used to work there, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where I met you guys, I
it might
think.
be, yeah.
A long time ago, but
Yep.
good. Well, happy 10-year
Thank
anniversary.
you. Yeah.
That's so exciting. So you have 2 kiddos?
I do. I have a almost 6-year-old girl, and our son is 16 months now.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
that's so
yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
Well, maybe do you wanna start with your first and deciding that you guys wanna have kids or and finding out that you're pregnant, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, yeah, sure. So initially, we never actually planned on having kids. The short version is I had a lot of trauma, sexual trauma, and a lot of like kind of that religious shame that came around sexuality and stuff. So both of
Yeah.
those things were against me, and I had PTSD.
Mhm.
So having kids was like an absolute no because it was so um what's the invasive, I guess, would be a good
Yeah,
way for me
okay.
to describe it. And I was just so ashamed of like pregnancy and all of that just because it had to do with sexuality. So I just had a lot of really deep rooted trauma. And so we initially planned on adopting through foster care. So we did do foster care for like 2 years. And then when I was 20, I believe, or 21,
Okay.
I just honestly, the only way I can describe it is a true miracle. Hi, buddy. Sorry, my cat's very needy. So I having PTSD for all these years, I experienced a true miracle of healing. And it literally happened with like within a night. I don't know why God chose this time, but I know it was so indescribable because like to go from having PTSD for so many years
Yeah.
where every day is a hard day to
Yeah.
just sudden like freedom from that is so indescribable. I'm like, nope, that's God.
That's so amazing.
Yeah. So when I experienced that, it was only 1 month later I found out I was pregnant. So yeah, it was such a crazy, crazy God story. Yeah. So it was, I mean, there was no trauma, there was no shame, nothing. I was just like a different person. Yeah. So that was kind of how she came to be, and um yeah, a true miracle for sure.
Wow. So how did you feel the beginning of your pregnancy and then, like, kinda throughout pregnancy?
I was really excited. I remember the first couple months being hard because I had morning sickness, but all the time. It wasn't throughout my entire pregnancy, but the first probably 13 to 15 weeks was just constant nausea. So that was really that threw me for a loop. I thought morning sickness was just for the morning, and I learned the
Morning?
hard way
Yeah.
that it's not.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was tough, but I feel like the rest of the pregnancy, I didn't have any complications. I mean, it was pretty smooth. She was, I think I was like 5 days overdue,
Okay.
and they decided that they wanted to induce me. I
Okay.
don't, I don't recall there being any real reason that was like certain as to why they needed
Yeah.
to induce.
Yeah.
So, like, looking back, I don't know if I really would have or not, but I do remember there was a snowstorm, and, I actually happened to start labor the night before I was supposed to go in for this
Oh,
induction.
okay.
So I think it started like 3 a.m. I was having contractions, and then by 2 p.m. the next day, I mean they were getting stronger for sure. And I was like, Brennan, I feel like it's too early to go in, but at the same time, I don't know if we're gonna get out of our driveway if we don't go
Yeah.
now. So
Yeah.
we went in early, and they still decided they wanted to give me Pitocin. So I
Oh, okay.
didn't.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit. Pre going into labor, did you take a birth class? Did you prepare for birth?
I did do the birthing classes that the hospital offered, to be honest, and I read the brochures and everything they send you home with, but, I feel like I didn't retain much of it. Maybe I did it early. I probably did it too early.
Okay,
So, I don't know how helpful it really was for me, I guess.
that's funny. Okay. Okay. So you got into the hospital and you were contracting, but they wanted to do Pitocin.
Yes, I think they said that I just wasn't really progressing as fast as they wanted, and I think, like, they had to break my water and just kinda get things going. I feel like now looking back, there was probably things we could have tried, getting up and walking and all these things, but I was so clueless to anything at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was just like, "Okay, yep, we'll do whatever you wanna do." So, yeah.
Okay, so maybe tell me more about labor and delivery then.
Yeah. Um, so after they broke my water, they told me contractions were gonna get a lot worse. And, I went into it thinking I was probably gonna do an epidural. So as much as I kind of was curious to try doing it naturally, the nurse had said, just so you know, it's gonna get a lot worse. I was like, okay, I'll get the epidural. So I did, and it was it was probably a good thing I did.
Okay.
Um, just because I had no experience about, like, giving birth and different things to try and such and pain
Yeah.
management.
Yeah.
And the Pitocin that they had me on was causing contractions that were off the charts and very long, like 3 minutes.
Oh, my Lanta.
So
Okay.
I can't imagine doing that without an epidural. So it was probably a good thing I did. But um
Did they start your Pitocin low and kinda gradually increase it, or did it just, like was it just intense right away?
I honestly don't remember. I think it
Okay.
was just kind of their normal protocol that they do, and I didn't really question it, so I think I just let them do whatever. But yeah, I just remember the contractions being really, really strong, but I didn't feel them, obviously, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I do remember though when they put the epidural in, I don't know if they, like, grazed a nerve or something, but I remember this lightning jolt, and I had no control, so I totally flinched, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I'm paralyzed." They didn't warn me at all that that could happen. So I'm like, "Ah, what just happened? I'm so scared." And they didn't really say anything. They were like, "It's alright, you're fine."
Gosh!
Yeah, so
I feel like I would have been so, nervous and looking for reassurance.
yeah. Yeah, I think they were like, "Nah, it's normal. You probably just grazed a nerve or whatever," and I don't know. So I wish they would have at least warned me of, like,
Yeah.
how it might
Yeah.
feel or what things can happen as far as when they're
Right.
actually putting it in. So,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, didn't see that one coming.
Holy moly. So how did delivery go then?
Um, it went I mean, it went good. I got a lot of rest. I didn't feel anything. I remember slightly feeling the ring of fire,
Okay.
and it scared me because I was like, "Well, I mean, I can't feel anything from the waist down, and yet I can feel that just a little bit. So
Yeah.
I was afraid to feel anything. So I just kept
Mhm.
hitting my epidural button and hoping for more pain management. But I mean, to be honest, yeah, it was almost totally pain free. But I did tear,
Okay.
and I think a lot of that was I was pushing on my back. I didn't even try other positions. Um, she came out like a rocket. I like they almost didn't catch her. It was like that. And I think like the chances are probably high that I didn't like I mean I wasn't really able to feel anything. So who knows how hard I was really pushing. And I
Yeah.
think all of those things combined was partially why I tore. I think it was a
Yeah.
second-degree tear. So, yeah, that was rough. I didn't feel anything on the front, but the recovery was really bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So, let's maybe talk then about recovery and postpartum with your
Yeah.
first.
So with Maisie, it was due to the tearing, I had a large amount of swelling, and I
Okay.
remember actually holding on to the bed rail and shaking because I
Oh,
was in so much pain, and this was a couple hours after giving birth. And so they came to check, and they're like, "Wow, you have a lot of swelling." So they did have to put me on a medication for that.
okay.
Um, so that definitely helped with the pain, but using the bathroom was awful. I remember having to have my husband there holding my hand, and I would just cry. And that was like that for a solid week or 2. I was
That's
just terrified to use the bathroom every time because it hurt so much.
yeah.
So, recovery was really rough with her, and it was hard to walk. And then with the epidural, I had back issues for a solid year afterward
Yeah. Okay,
of
talk
just,
about
like
that a little bit more.
I think from what I remember, I would just get, like, these random jolts of pain, kinda similar to what happened when they first put that epidural in. Not as
Interesting.
intense, but
Okay.
enough that I was like, "Oh my gosh, how long is this gonna keep going?" So, yeah, that was definitely a downside to the epidural.
How did you feel, like, mental health wise postpartum?
So, that was a whole other thing. I actually gave birth a week before everything shut down from COVID.
Oh,
So, she was a pandemic baby, and I was like my husband actually had started a brand new job, um, right when I gave birth to her, basically, so I did not have him. I had
yeah.
really no support system because everything was closed.
Yeah.
People weren't coming over, I mean, I had some people who weren't afraid, um, but it was really hard, and I remember just being up all night long, and she would just cry, and I would cry, and I was just so not used to it at all. So, I don't know if it was necessarily postpartum depression, but it was hard. Um, and I probably would have had a lot more support had it not been 2020.
Yeah, and support makes all the difference.
Mhm.
Plus, having your husband start a new job and navigating that, I can only imagine how hard that must have been.
Yeah, and I did try breastfeeding, and I think it
Okay.
lasted like a month because it
Yeah.
was so like I couldn't produce enough, probably
Yeah.
because I wasn't eating enough, I wasn't sleeping enough. I didn't have that support to be able to do those things to
Yeah.
produce the milk
Yeah.
needed. So that was really hard on me mentally because I felt like I was a failure,
Yeah.
and like I was letting her down. So it took me a couple of weeks to finally get to a place where I'm like, I can't do this. I have to I have to bottle feed with formula.
Yeah.
Um, and that was honestly the best decision that I could have made at that time.
Did you feel relief once you made the switch?
I did. It took a little bit of time, but yeah, I think I figured out that that was the best thing for both of us rather
Yeah.
than just trying to struggle through it and just barely making it by, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
that must have been so hard.
yeah.
Okay, so, um, let's maybe then talk about kinda transitioning out of the early postpartum with your first. Um, Obviously, you guys decided to have a second. Maybe talk about navigating that and timelines and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so, with Maisie, I remember her being, like, the best sleeper after 3 months. When she hit 3 months, she was, like, putting herself to sleep. She was not
Nice.
needing to really co-sleep, and she'd sleep all night. I'm like, "Wow, we are so lucky."
Yeah.
Um, but then once she hit, like, I wanna say 2 or 3,
Okay.
she got really sick one time, and, I mean, her fevers were hitting, like, 104,
Yeah.
and we had to sleep with her to, like, monitor her, and
Right.
after that, she never slept alone again. So I'm like, "Oh, well, I guess better on the latter half than in the beginning,"
Yeah.
I feel like. So
Yeah.
even to this day, she has a trundle bed, and my husband sleeps in the trundle bed.
I love
Yep. And we're
Oh,
like, "She'll grow out of it someday, and one day we're gonna look back and be like, 'You know what?
yeah.
We got all that extra time with her.' It is
Yeah.
what it is, it's fine."
We
So, yeah,
we
um,
have both of our toddlers have full-size beds now because I'm like, we just need to be comfortable because 'cause we're always in their bed or they're in our bed or
yeah,
whatever. It's like,
yep,
no more twin beds, no more
yep,
cribs, let's just have
yep,
enough
I
space
get it,
for every.
for sure, yeah. I know we always joke about, like, just getting a California king bed and just all sleeping in it. So, yeah, but, um, so yeah, I mean, we definitely wanted to have an age gap because I was not a mom that could handle 2 under 2, and neither is Brandon, to be honest. So, yeah, we kind of I think when she was 4, it would have been I just felt like this peace, that I had never had before. Because honestly, I was like, "I don't know if I'm gonna have a second." But similar to her and how she came to be, I just had this peace that it was time.
Yeah.
And so we tried for the first month, and then life got really complicated, and I won't even go into that, but there was some things that happened, and we're like, "Okay, nope, I guess I was wrong, this is not the time," and we had a really, really rough patch there, and I was confused because 'cause I'm like, "I felt peace about this."
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
I'm like, "Absolutely not." And so that was really hard for me
Yeah.
to try and
Nav
wrestle with,
Yeah.
especially the wanting of a second kid,
Yeah.
but knowing that it was not feasible at that in that season.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, as it turned out, I truly believe that was the enemy just trying to keep it from happening. But the next month, I think it was the next month or 2, something like that, I unexpectedly was pregnant. So, I was off birth control. That was more so for, like, I didn't want it in my system anymore, and I didn't wanna be
Yeah.
on it for years. So, I was tracking my cycle and using, like, ovulation kits and everything,
Yeah.
and when I got pregnant and found out, I mean, I was in shock. because I'm like, how this doesn't even line up. In order for me to have gotten pregnant with him,
Yeah.
I would have had to have ovulated 2 weeks late. That was the math. And I'm like, what on earth? My
Yeah.
cycle was so thrown off for whatever that month.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's a little sus there, God. I feel like maybe that piece I was feeling was accurate. So yeah, I was pregnant with him, and you know,
Sweet.
we made it through that season. But I do remember seeing my period and I'm like, what is going on? And I took a test and it was negative, and then
Oh,
more days went by and I'm like, this is weird. This doesn't make sense. And there was some other things with my body that were off, and I'm like, maybe I should just try one more test to
yeah.
see. And it was very positive. And I remember my jaw dropping. And I
Oh my
I I was in shock, and I just walked into Brandon's office and I'm like, and I showed him the test and then I just sobbed. It was so, and it was really mixed feelings. I
Yeah.
was like, we are in a really bad season in our
Yeah.
relationship. And
Yeah.
now we're navigating a pregnancy on top of it.
Right.
So yeah. But it all worked out, and I believe it worked out exactly how it was supposed to. So
Right. I love that.
yeah.
So how did you feel throughout pregnancy then with your second?
Um, I still had the same morning sickness all day thing.
Yeah.
So I kind of anticipated that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Um, his was a little bit more complicated in some ways. Just because I had another kid that I was having to take care of on top of the pregnancy. Um, so that was, I don't know, eh, maybe it wasn't as hard just because I was so busy. I feel like in some ways it was, in some ways it was easier. But the birth was just so different from hers for sure.
Did you maybe prep for birth a little more or a little differently
Yep,
the
for
second time?
sure. Yep,
Okay.
I got a doula this time, which was amazing. I
Yeah.
recommend everybody get a doula. And so I went through St. Luke's this time,
Okay.
and they have doulas that you can choose from there that work with them. So that's what I did. We just did the upfront cost, and yeah, I don't think you have to do it that way. I think you can pay in, increments or whatever, but
Yeah.
um yeah, so honestly it was a lot cheaper than if we had gone to a private doula
Doula.
practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
recommend using what your hospital offers. And our doula was amazing. She, I think, was around my age too, might have been a little bit younger. But it was nice to have someone that was kind of in that same season as I was. So yeah, I had a doula this time, did a lot more prepping, and was just a lot more informed going in on what
Okay.
different things I could try. And this time I knew what I wanted, I think, more than when I first gave birth.
Yeah. I think sometimes it takes that first birth, like learning and then also reflecting back on it to realize that you can have things different and you do actually want or don't want things different, you know?
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I mean, you don't know what you don't know. So when
Right,
you
right.
first go into it, it's really a learning experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so maybe we'll talk about labor then with your second.
Yeah. So, um, labor was a whole other ballgame with him. He was, I believe, 7 days overdue, and I got pneumonia.
Oh
So
no.
I was really sick, and I think that's why my body was not going into labor. There was no signs at all. With Maisie, I was dilated till 3.5 for like a week or two. before I even started contractions. And with him, I think I was maybe a 2 by, like, a week
Okay.
overdue. Even that might be generous. But yeah, I had Braxton Hicks with him, but I did not have any true contractions at all.
Okay.
And I remember they set me up for an induction, and, I wanna say maybe 2 days or something before the induction, I was watching TV, and I realized my vision started getting funky.
Interesting. Okay.
And I felt normal. My
Mhm.
breathing was normal and stuff, but I literally lost my peripheral vision. So, yeah. So we called and went in, and they're like, okay, your blood pressure is starting to get a teeny bit high at
Okay.
points.
Yeah.
And they were like, You're sick. I think your body is starting to just say it's had enough. Like I don't think I would have been able
Yeah.
to naturally do it. So at least not without there being higher risks to Maverick. So we did do the induction, but this time I did tell them whatever you would normally do with Pitocin, I want you to cut it in half and do those kind of increments. And they did. No
Us.
questions about that.
Yeah.
So they did the induction. I was on no sleep because of the pneumonia. No matter what, if I laid down, I was coughing all night long. So I was already going into it exhausted. And once contractions got going, I remember morning, I had a window view. It was a beautiful sunrise. And Brandon was asleep. So I just got to sit on my ball and watch the
Gosh.
sea smoke and everything. And it was great. And then my water broke. And my water did not break naturally last time, so I didn't really know this feeling, and
Got
I
it.
was
Okay.
like, "Did I just pee myself?" And then it just kept coming. I'm like, "Oh, no, okay, this is my waters. Alright." So after that, contractions definitely got more intense, but
Yeah.
this time I wanted to try without an epidural.
Doula there at that point, or did she come later?
She came when I called after my water broke, I called her. She knew we were there and everything, but
Yeah.
I was like, "There's no point until things really start getting going." So,
Right. Yeah.
um, yeah, I called her to come at that point, and I wanted to try the tub, so I did, and I th I was hoping it would be more helpful because I've heard a lot of women say the tub was a game changer. For
Yeah.
me, it didn't really do anything. Um, Maybe I was a little more relaxed or something than I would have been, but it didn't help with the pain. There was very little that helped with pain. I remember being so exhausted, I felt I was like falling asleep in between contractions, which the funny thing is I was always confused hearing that from women. I'm like, how can you be falling asleep? Like you're in pain and
Yeah.
labor. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I get it now.
Yeah. It all makes sense.
um, yep. So yeah, I eventually got to the point where like, okay, I just need to get out and walk or something because this isn't
Yeah.
working. I remember her doing the hip squeezes and that helped.
Okay.
Yep. And then eventually I was at the point where I'm like, okay, I don't want an epidural, but I need a break
Yeah. Yeah.
because I was on no sleep and obviously pneumonia. So they gave me, I think it was like lauded, and that helped. That helped for sure for about 30 minutes. And then they're like, "You're progressing. We can't keep going with it." I'm like, I wanted a better break than that, man. So yeah, that did not last long. And then it started getting really intense. And I started becoming scared of the contractions. I remember when they would start to increase, I just held on to Brandon around his neck and I just hung there. And
Yeah.
it was a little scary for sure.
Yeah.
I don't even know how I got through it, to be honest. You start to go, and I remember my doula telling me this, that once you hit transition,
Yeah.
you start to go in this different state of mind, and that is so true.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like, um, somewhat aware of what was around me, but at the same time, I was just so in my head of trying to get through the next 30 seconds, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Truly.
Mhm. It is really a mind game, and, I tried different positions, and I found the honestly, all I could do was just hang on to the bed rail, and I didn't go on my back this time. I was like, "No, I'm not doing that." So I don't know, I was on my knees, I believe, and just kind of upright over the bed. So, yeah, contractions were really, really intense, and had them check me because I remember in my head, I'm like, "I have to be at a 10. If this kind of pain is not a 10, I can't do this."
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they came and checked me and they're like, "Well, you're at about a 7." And I'm like, "What? No way. Get me an epidural." And they're like,
Yeah.
"Okay, well, we'll let the anesthesiologist know. It might be an hour though."
Yeah.
And then I felt something drop. And I'm like, what was that?" And I told my doula, and she's like, she knew. She knew that something was, she was like, "Okay, we're gonna have them check you again." And what turned out was I was actually very like, totally dilated, but I had a cervical lip. So so that's why they thought I was at a 7.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so I kind of felt more relief knowing that, like, the pain that I was completely capped at was in fact a 10. It was
Yes. Right.
not a 7.
Yeah.
Um, so once that cervical lip resolved, that's what I felt was him. He had totally dropped. And I remember somewhere in all the fuzziness in my head, I could kind of hear Brandon saying to my doula, he's like, "She's not getting that epidural, is she?" And she's like, "No, it's go time." And I was like, "Dang it, I don't know how to do this, man." I remember literally asking myself if this is the pain that Jesus felt when he died. It was so bad, dude. Oh,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I knew it would be bad, but I didn't know it was gonna be that bad. And
Well,
maybe
especially because you had Pitocin. Like,
yeah, yeah,
unmedicated Pitocin, I honestly could not even imagine.
yeah. I had all the cards stacked against me. I had pneumonia, so I was incredibly weak and
Yeah.
exhausted.
Yes.
He was a big baby. He was 8 pounds, 13 ounces, and I am a very small person.
Yeah.
I had a cervical lip, which I've been told definitely increases pain,
Yeah.
and pneumonia. So, like, yeah, I had all the cards stacked against me, and
You are amazing.
yep, I don't I didn't have a choice at that point. I'm like, "Well, I guess we're doing this." I
Yeah.
like I said, I literally don't know how I think I was so in my head trying to keep myself calm and
Yeah.
breathe. There was no time to even converse with somebody about getting an epidural and talking about options. I couldn't talk. There was no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah. So once they checked me that second time, they're like, "Oh, yeah, no, she's gone. It's time." And they're
It's
like, "Well,
time.
you can push." And I was not expecting, like, obviously, it still hurt like hell to push and you
Yeah.
have the ring of fire, but I wasn't expecting the relief in a way of pushing.
Yeah.
It it was weird. It's not it took the pain down exactly, but it felt better to push. I don't know how to explain it.
It I
Um,
I kinda understand what you're feeling, like, it's almost, like, productive,
yeah.
you know? It felt like once I started pushing, I couldn't really or I didn't even think about my contractions anymore. And that
Yeah.
was like a bit of a relief.
Yeah.
It hurt in different places, but
Right. Yep. Exactly.
it was a little
Yeah,
relief.
that ring of fire is no joke for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I told the doctor beforehand that I, um, wanted to do everything I could to not tear again, because that was so
Yeah.
awful for me the first time. Um, and so I'm like, "Okay, yep, you can do the, like, perineal massage and stuff while I'm pushing." I don't know if I'll do that again.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
remember so I legitimately sounded like a demon. I wasn't screaming like a banshee, but it was this low growl.
you're yep, yep.
Yep. And it was yeah, it was scary, man. I'm so glad I didn't have my daughter in the room or something. So that's how I had to cope. That's the only way I could do it. Um, but I do remember when he started doing the perineal massage, I, in my demon voice, yelled, "Get out." And everyone kinda started to laugh because I think they were thinking I was, like, just saying this to the baby, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, get your
You.
hand out of me, I can't take
Yeah.
this."
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that was really intense, but when he came out, um, one thing I was not expecting because the whole time I was like, "Okay, yeah, once he comes out, you put him directly on my chest." And at that point, I was so out of it and exhausted, I couldn't take him. So my husband took him. Um, and I want to say there was mixed feelings about that. I partially felt bad, but at the same time, I know what I need, and I
Yeah.
need to be able to recoup from what
Yeah.
just happened.
Oh.
I mean, that was a trauma, man. That was a trauma. Um,
And that's so amazing for you to be able to recognize that, and then also for your husband to be there and be able to
yeah,
take.
yep. And it was special for Brent. I don't think he anticipated that to happen. For him to take him on his chest was that was a bonding moment for them for sure.
Okay, so, did you tear the second time?
I didn't. I had the teeniest little tear, but it was really nothing. I didn't feel it. I the recovery on this one was so different. I was up and walking right away. I went to the bathroom the first time with no pain, and I was like, "Oh my god." It was totally different. I do remember kind of being in like a I don't know, a weird state for a little bit because I was trying to wrap my head around the fact that I had just gone through the absolute worst pain I've ever experienced. I don't know if I could compare it to anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to take a few moments to create some space for me to be able to process that, which was that was really vulnerable for me. I had to do that with Brandon and sometimes there was some tears and just processing everything, but
Yeah.
um yeah, but I know, because of the pneumonia after right after he came out, they had to hold my lungs up basically because I had, fluids stuck, and
Oh, yeah.
especially from when I was yelling or that instinctive,
Yeah.
moan or whatever it was that really rattled everything.
Yeah.
So I was having a tough time breathing and getting everything out. So they had to help me get all of that taken care of first before I could even hold him. So that was kind of frustrating. But yeah, once I held him, everything was. I didn't cry. I feel like I was a little teary eyed with Maisie, but this was just so still kind of out of it, I think, that there wasn't a whole ton of emotion. But once I, kind of got back into reality, it was a lot smoother from there. Like I was up and able to shower and take him no problem. So yeah,
Yeah, that's so huge. I think we don't always realize how much our physical, like, pain and limitations affects us until we're trying to take care of a baby and you have swelling or a ton of pain, and it's really challenging.
Yep. Yep, for sure. I mean, now that I think about it, like, I don't know what I'm gonna end up choosing if we have a third. Honestly, like, I feel that maybe the pain that I experienced wasn't normal completely. I mean, it's different every time, but it's like, okay, I had Pitocin, cervical lip, pneumonia, no pain management, and I was completely exhausted. So maybe the next time, yeah, if I hopefully I will go into labor on my own next time.
Yeah.
And not have to do Pitocin. That would be lovely. And then, maybe it'll be a little bit more manageable, but um I'm also not opposed to an epidural next time. I would just say that I'm not afraid to feel pain at this point, even if it's, I don't know, 20% less pain than the last time. That would be a win for me.
Yeah.
So if I don't know exactly how it works with epidurals. Like, I know that you can hit the button and get more if you need, but I think next time if I had to have an epidural, like I still want to be able to feel what I'm doing
Yeah. Yeah.
and be able to, like, I think there are positions you can do that are not on your back, even with
Yes.
an
Absolutely.
epidural.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that the first time.
Right? Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's probably a good middle ground that I could try next time.
Well, and the other thing too is if you did an epidural and you had a doula,
Hmm.
a there to help advocate for you, might even go different than the first time,
Hmm.
because it kinda sounds like, right or wrong, your nurses were like, "Well, this is what we're gonna do," and then you just said, "Okay."
Yeah.
And if you have somebody to advocate for you, maybe it would, um, just be a little different.
Mhm. Yeah, I think because I had the dual, I was able to really hash out what I wanted and what I didn't want because she provided me with all of the information I would need. And the nurses that I had with my son, I don't they were just very very supportive. They were very like, what do you want to do? And like gave me information and everything. There was definitely no pushing of anything or like I didn't feel judgment or anything.
That's
I yeah, it was a really good experience with them.
that's so awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. So, I have one other question for you. What do you want your children to know about your journey to becoming their mother?
Would say both of them truly are miracles. And because of that, and because of everything that I went through and what I, the healing that I went through, um, like I know that there's a purpose for them. So, when they're grown up, if they ever question, why am I here? Or like
Yeah.
question their worth and their value, I'll be able to tell them how hard I had to fight for them to even be earthside and how God fought for me to be able to bring them
Yeah.
into the world.
I love that so much.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing and for your vulnerability, and it was such a pleasure hearing both of your stories.
Yeah, no, I love to share it and just give people my I think it's nice that I've done both
Yeah.
spectrums,
Yeah.
so to be able to share my experience in both of those is
Yeah.
hopefully can help other women.
It is definitely a cool perspective to be able
Yeah.
to share others.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was great. This was definitely my first like podcast of talking about my birth story, so that's cool.
I love it. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Right. Okay,
So,
thank you.
all right. Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.